All right, welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you've ever felt completely, absolutely overwhelmed by a chaotic deadline, or shifting priorities, or maybe just a really demanding boss, you are in exactly the right place. Today, we're diving into something literally every single professional faces, but honestly, very few actually master. We're talking about workplace pressure. Our topic today is emotional intelligence at work, and specifically, taking the Stoic approach. We're going to break down how you can stop just barely surviving the modern workplace and start truly thriving in it by applying what is basically an absolute masterclass in emotional intelligence. Let's get into it.
So I really want you to think about this question. Why let chaos dictate your peace? Why let a crazy deadline, some unexpected market shift, or even just your manager's bad mood ruin your day? Without even realizing it, so many of us have tied our entire self-worth to these external outcomes. It's like we just hand over the keys and let KPIs completely hijack our emotions. But here's the hard truth of it. Workplace turbulence, it's inevitable. It's going to happen. But losing your composure, that is entirely optional.
And let's be real about the 2026 workplace battlefield for a second. Corporate environments have just never been more volatile than they are right now. We're dealing with rapid AI integration that's reshaping roles basically overnight. We've got weekly shifts in market demands, totally unpredictable executive decisions, and sudden project deprioritizations. You can literally go from being celebrated for a massive project on Tuesday to having it completely shelved by Thursday afternoon. It is incredibly intense, and frankly, it's exhausting. So if you're feeling that pressure right now, your feelings are totally 100% valid.
Now, the real danger of all that crazy volatility is something called emotional contagion. Think of it like a virus. It's the rapid spread of anxiety and panic through Teams, Slack channels, and meetings, which ultimately leads to really reactive decision-making. When just one colleague starts panicking about a restructuring rumor, right, that anxiety doesn't just stay in their cubicle. It spreads like absolute wildfire. Suddenly, your entire team is reacting out of pure fear instead of thinking strategically. And guess what? Massive, game-changing opportunities get missed simply because everyone is caught up in this huge, collective panic.
But here's the amazing part. It turns out the ultimate solution to this hyper-modern, tech-driven problem, it isn't some new app or a fancy new productivity workflow. It's actually a 2,000-year-old mental operating system. We're talking about Stoicism. And look, forget about dusty ancient history books. The Stoics actually designed a highly tactical mental framework specifically for high-stakes, incredibly unpredictable environments. Whether you are out there commanding Roman legions, navigating the Roman Senate, or, dealing with today's endless notification pings and unhinged reply-all email chains, the system absolutely works. So let's break down exactly how to use it.
Okay, so the very first tool in our toolkit is Skill 1, Objective Representation. Basically, this is the daily practice of consciously stripping all the wild, emotional storytelling away from the raw, undeniable facts.
Let's start with a really relatable example. The emotional thought, a missed deadline is a total disaster. We have all been there, right? Your heart rate spikes, your stomach completely drops, and you immediately start catastrophizing. I'm going to get fired, my reputation is ruined, I'll never work in this industry again. The emotion is literally screaming at you that the sky is absolutely falling. But now let's apply objective representation to that exact same scenario. The objective fact is simply a delay with specific causes and solvable variables. Do you notice how incredibly different that feels? When you strip away all those dramatic adjectives, a quote-unquote total disaster instantly just becomes, well, a manageable strategy. You stop panicking and you immediately start problem solving. It's a total game changer.
Here is another one that triggers almost all of us, for sure. The emotional thought, harsh feedback is proof you're failing. When a manager criticizes your work, man, it is so easy to fall into this massive ego-driven spiral. Your defensive walls instantly shoot up, and the emotional narrative inside your head starts telling you that you just aren't good enough for the role.
But what is the objective fact here? It's just data about performance gaps. That is literally it. It is not some grand personal indictment of your character. It's simply neutral data showing you exactly where you need to improve to reach that next level. Reframing it this way, it instantly shuts down that downward emotional spiral.
So how do we actually pull this off in real time? Well, you use something called the pause. Between the stimulus, like, say, a surprise critique or an angry email from a client, and your response, there's this tiny, tiny little space. And in that space lies all your freedom. When the pressure hits, you have to pause. Take one real, conscious breath and just ask yourself for the raw facts. Actually, let's just take 2 seconds of silence right now to feel what that pause is really like. See? That brief moment is exactly where you stop reacting like a victim and you start operating like a strategist.
And that strategic mindset leads us perfectly to the very core of Stoic emotional intelligence, the dichotomy of control. This is Epictetus's famous principle. He taught that the absolute key to tranquility is recognizing one hard, undeniable truth. Some things are completely up to us, and most things are absolutely not.
I want you to think of this as building a mental firewall, okay? On one side, we have what is entirely outside your control: market shifts, executive decisions, your boss's mood, and endless AI restructuring. Wasting your mental energy over here, that's a fast track to burnout, guaranteed. But on the other side is what is strictly within your control: your effort, your intent, and your reaction. When you focus exclusively on this side of the wall, external volatility might affect your circumstances, sure, but it can never, ever dictate your self-worth.
And here is where this ancient philosophy translates into a massive, highly tangible career benefit for you today. Composure is a competitive edge. Think about it. In a crisis, when everyone else is emotionally flooded and totally panicking, the person who manages to stay calm and objective, they're the one who sees the clearest path forward. They ask way better questions. They make significantly higher quality decisions. By mastering your reactions, you become the clear-headed anchor that the entire team and upper leadership comes to heavily rely on.
Just notice the stark difference in career trajectories here. The reactive professional is constantly riding this exhausting emotional roller coaster. Euphoric during the wins, completely stressed out during downturns, and so easily manipulated by petty office politics. Their growth plateaus because emotion is constantly clouding their judgment. The Stoic professional, however, they treat every single high-pressure situation as training. They build this rock-solid reputation for reliability, and that unclouded judgment compounds over time into faster promotions, way greater trust, and this kind of magnetic leadership presence. But look, just knowing this stuff isn't enough, right? We need actual systems to put it into practice. So let's transition from philosophy to everyday implementation. I want to share a really simple 2-part daily system designed to literally rewire your nervous system. We call it the Daily Stoic Professional Audit.
Part 1 is your morning premeditation. This takes what, maybe 5 minutes? Before you even crack open your laptop or check your phone, visualize your potential stressors for the day. Is there a really difficult conversation coming up? A super tight deadline? Mentally rehearse yourself responding to those specific events with total composure. And finally, make a hard commitment to yourself. Say it out loud if you have to. Today, I will focus only on what is mine to control. Doing this prepares your mind for battle before the very first shot is even fired. Then, part 2 happens at the end of the day, the evening reflection. You're just going to ask yourself 3 really precise questions. First, where did I give away my peace today and why? Second, what was within my control that I handled well or maybe could improve? And third, what did I learn that makes me anti-fragile for tomorrow? Now, listen very closely to this part. You absolutely must do this without any harsh self-criticism, okay? This isn't about beating yourself up at all. It's simply about honest observation and gentle course correction.
At the end of the day, emotional intelligence isn't about feeling less. It's about responding better. The Stoics didn't magically escape pressure, they mastered it. And if you start implementing that little pause, that objective reframing, and that really simple daily audit, you are going to transform from someone who merely survives corporate storms into the calm, unshakable center of them. As the saying goes, control your reactions and you control your destiny at work. So I really want to leave you with this final provocative thought for your very next workday. If you aren't in control of your own reactions, who exactly is in control of your career? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. It's been awesome, and I will see you next time.